you may have already guessed by their unique headgear that the lads are a tad iconoclastic. The masks are always worn for media interviews because they say they don't want to be known for their looks.
Daft Punk won 4 Grammy Awards Sunday night, which also gave producer and musician Nile Rodgers 4 as well at Sunday's 56th Annual Grammy Awards.
After Daft Punk would become the most recognizable name in dance music thanks to hit songs like Around the World, The Funk, and One More Time. After Daft Punk would earn their first #1 Billboard Hot 100 track by producing The Weeknd's Starboy and performing the song with him live at the Grammys in 2017.
When we met, we were like 12 and 13, and for the first 4 years we were friends. We only went to movies and stuff, and looking at videotapes, and we never did music for the 4 first years. It's after that we had separate bands, and then ultimately we made music together.
Turning 17 or 18, we discovered, the ability to go into clubs, and went into some raves and discovered a very energetic movement compared to the very stiff rock audiences that at the time where we loved a lot of bands and were going to a lot of shows, but it seems that everybody was so afraid to move.
Their EP got reviewed in a newspaper in France, and the person kind of like Melody Maker actually, and they called it Daft Punk Thrash. So it was like a bad review, so they took it to heart, and they're like, okay, and they redefined their sound. And then when they came back and they actually said, we need a name, we'll take the name of the review, Daft Punk, and that was it. It's like
the
so
rest
crazy
was
how
history.
everything.
In 1993, the two artists presented a demo to Scottish techno label Soma Records. Not long after, the pair released its first single, The New Wave, in 1994.
Two years later, they would release their debut album Homework, and was the turning point.
This album is a snapshot of two guys who made lemonade out of lemons, getting the ultimate revenge on a critic, evolving dance music to a new level, and also previewing where they would go with their next few projects.
We really wanted to make music on our own, and this was a real possible way of doing music at home, completely free, with nobody's help, and we didn't want to ask anybody anything.
The reason why Daft Punk was so amazing was because they had the money to have a big studio, and I haven't. That's what I thought. And then I arrived, and I'm like, where's the studio? And he's like, well, this is it. And then, oh my God, I got so depressed because they were making this music with nothing. You know how you always give an excuse when you're a beginner, you always say, yeah, but that's because those guys, they have more connections, they have more money, they have more ways to promote. But you never want to say, I'm just not as good as them. And then that day, it was like a shock for me because I arrived and I said, did you do homework here? I said, yes. And it was only 2 small Mackeys, 8 tracks connected together, a ghetto blaster, no real monitors, and there was only 1 compressor on the master. I couldn't believe it.
It also spawned the extremely successful single Around the World, and a music video directed by Michel Gondry. A collection featuring all of Homework's legendary music videos, called DAFT, a story about dogs, androids, firemen, and tomatoes, was released in 1999.
Before Discovery's release, Daft Punk adopted robot personas as a promotional strategy, claiming they had undergone reconstructive surgery and woke up as robots. The album dropped on March 12, 2001 under Virgin Records. Discovery is a visual album, a concept album with a feature-length film or music videos for each track. Enter Interstellar 5555, a sci-fi film merging the entertainment industry's glitz with the raw exploitation of artists. It follows the abduction and rescue of an extraterrestrial pop band, showing fame's dark side with limited freedom and exhausted band members forced to sign endless publicity material. Originally, Daft Punk planned a live-action film, but they turned to an anime inspired by their childhood love for Japanese animation. Produced by Toei Animation, the film received rave reviews, show the reality of entertainment industry mixing music and anime productions.
I listen to a lot of Discovery, Daft Punk, or Homework, Daft Punk actually have been like heavy on my playlist recently. I don't know why. I'm just like re-going through my Daft Punk phase, I would say.
Speaking of the soundtrack, obviously Daft Punk were a famous duo for many years, and Kosinski was actually a fan of them, and so he reached out to them, and they actually, ironically, were huge fans of the original Tron. So they were interested in signing on, but they wanted to make sure that the people making it were invested in, honoring the original film, so they had a great meeting.
Punk's next release was pretty much the opposite of Alive 2007. Tron Legacy, their first film score, was meticulously crafted using a combination of an 85-piece orchestra and Daft Punk's own signature synthwave style. Guy Manuel said of the Tron Legacy score that Wendy Carlos, the composer of the original Tron film, was one of their main inspirations for the soundtrack. They also talked about how despite only having seen Tron a few times as children, it had imprinted on them strongly and even influenced the visual identity of Daft Punk.
They also met with Hans Zimmer a couple of times, and he basically gave them advice for scoring for the first picture. And obviously you can get some semblances of Hans's electronic influences on this score.
Then Thomas called me and said, come to the studio and let's work on a song. So I'm happy, went there and I thought, okay, great, to work with Daft Punk. And I start to play piano and I sing and we compose a song. And they said, no, let us do the music. You just talk. You just tell the story of your life. So then I come in, and they had 3 microphones and a chair, and I was supposed to talk. And I asked the guy, the engineer, why do they have three microphones? Well, they said the microphone on the left is a microphone of the 50s, or 40s actually. So when you talk about your life in Italy, they're recording with that microphone. Then they had a microphone of the 60s, end of 60s, early 70s, I don't know which one, Sony probably, one of those. And I said, and that one, oh, that's when you tell the story about the 70s. And then they had a new one, which I didn't know, and said, and what's that one? Oh, that's if you talk about the future. So I said, this is great, but who would ever know the difference? So he said, nobody. I said, so why are you doing it if nobody would hear the difference? Oh, he said, the 2 guys, they hear the difference.
You need a click. My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but you can call me Giorgio.
And so by the time we met them, it was like, oh, I know exactly who you guys are. You know, people say meeting of the minds, but it wasn't. It was like meeting of the spirits. We were different. But I've always just seen them as like, they're spirit animals, which were robots. You know, when I reference them as robots, it's like, it's not a nod to what they wear or how they present themselves. It's a nod to what they actually are. They're really robots. When they brought me in to write on the album, I thought I was just writing for someone else.
That's really fucking cool.
The distinctive linear lick was coming from the plexiglass guitar, which became the get up the line to get lucky, right? So had I not played that lick, I don't know what the song would have been called, and I don't know what Pharrell would have sang.
Who revolutionized dance music the most? And people say Daft Punk.
They're robots. And then Tamar had me like record it over and over and over again. I've always been like, okay, I'm gonna go in there and once it feels good to me, that's it. But it's really not. That's just the beginning. I've never went in there, and, you know, to perfect it. And he continued to push me. So it might have been written, but he's like, okay, now record it again. Okay, cool, now record it again. Okay, cool, take this again. Okay, cool, stack this again. Okay, do it again, do it again, do it again. It was like over and over and over and over again, which is the right way to do it, right? You get all the knots out. And for me, that's what I learned in working with the robots. Now I understand the value of it, the value of just taking the time to iron it out, but it could be perfection. That's the difference between a human and a robot.
When they released the album, and my band, and we were on tour, we didn't realize how big Get Lucky was becoming and how fast it was getting big.
I really thought they were good. I just didn't know what it was gonna turn into though. Because it was me singing. That threw me off too. I was like, yo, I thought somebody else was gonna sing, and they were like, nah, you. The robots were the ideators. This was their dream. This is the way that they saw it. You know, as humans, you know, we all are egotistical to some degree. So a lot of us feel like, you know, our success was our planning and our execution. And we don't realize that there's so many other factors that are involved. It's the robots, it's not me. They played the track and asked me to write something to it. I was lucky to like go along this ride. That humbled me. We must remember we are part of the universe. We don't run the universe. This is God's movie. The only thing you can do is play your part, be where you're supposed to be at the right time, so you don't miss your line.
And the Grammy goes to Random Access Memories, Daft Punk.
The legend of the Phoenix.
The Grammy goes to
All ends with beginnings.
Get Lucky, Daft Punk.
It was an honor to have them be a part of the project. But I think more so than anything else, I just appreciate their fingerprint in my life.
And the Grammy goes to Daft Punk. She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to the sun. We're up all night to get some. We're up all night for good fun. We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
So tell me, how did you guys get involved with Daft Punk initially?
Well, I had done arrangements for Tron and then was asked by the guys to come in. We started talking and everything, and that led to Paul Williams. And, oh, could we meet him? We would love to meet him. And so I called Paul and arranged for them to go down to his place where they met.
I mean, we could consider that Random Access Memories is our first studio album ever, in some sense, just because it's the first time we actually went into a studio to record a record. But the last 8 years were filled with different experiences, from going on tour for almost a year and a half or 2 years in 2006 and 2007, then working on Tron in 2009, part of 2010. But mostly we were interested in taking the time to reinvent ourselves and see where we could go next.
One of the guys said something basically about it would be great to do a big kind of orchestral thing at the end that has a basic message. What is the message? And Kaz writes his music, and I'm going, hold on, if love is the answer, we're home. Hold on. It's like in that moment, and then he orchestrates it, and it will make you cry. You write it down and get credit for it, but I heard it in his music.
It sounds beautiful already.
If love is the answer, you're home. Hold on. If love is the answer, you're home.
When they did Epilogue, when they used that music, it's a little heavy-hearted, and yet it's so inspiring.
I know that they're both going their own way, which is a great thing, but it was sad to hear it.
My parting words to the robots would be, thank you for the sparkly gift you gave me. Gave me an opportunity to, at an age when most guys are sitting on their porch yelling, get off my lawn. You gave me an opportunity to participate in something that was life-changing for some people and life-changing for me, because it made me passionate about music in a way that was always there, but you turned up the heat. I'm forever grateful, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we have like a big muff and some stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Let's play it.
What was the first thing you did? The first time was cool. I was just curious.
I would argue Instant Crush was really the main.
The main, that was the blockbuster.
The real heads know. They played me 2 different songs. One was the verse of Instant Crush, and one was the chorus of Instant Crush, and I think I was like, can we just put them together? I don't know if they secretly were setting me up and intended me to say that, or if they were like, what a brilliant idea you just had. The making of the video was fun. The filming of it was really fun. But the editing process was very brutal. Possibly ended my friendship with Warren.
What were you disagreeing about?
I think I wanted to seem a little more like wild or something. Yeah, the vocoder sounds, whatever, all those things. It was ironically or whatever, like more like me. So when we did the video, I wanted to be like RoboCop or something. So quiet in here.
Get Lucky was obviously the big song from that record, but Instant Crush was really the sleeper indie hit.
Now, the way this shit kicked in with the beat and how it just started flowing the fuck off on this? What the fuck? Okay, turn this bitch up then.
And we will never be alone again, 'cause it doesn't ever